So my name is Hunter Black, and I am presenting my anatomy long term from last year. So my long term is on the temperature effects on the leg muscles during different runs. So my question that I have that's being tested is what temperatures affect like the 50, the 100, and the 200 meter sprint, and which temperature is the best to run in. So why I picked this is I'm a runner, and I often ask myself, what is the best temperature to run in? Like for the cold, is it better to run in the short distance or long distance to the cold, or the same with the heat? So my hypothesis is I believe that a person can run faster in the 50 meter sprint in the cold temperatures, but in the 100 and 200 they can run better in the warmer temperatures. So how I'm going to test this is I'm going to have 4 different people run in the 50, 100, and 200 in 2 trials in the warm and in the heat. So here's my first trial. I had Adam, Jay, Ethan, and Garrett run. The temperature was 42 degrees the first day we ran, and the averages for the 50 was a 7.34, and then the 100 was a 13.8, and then the 200 was a 29.32. And then the second day in the cold, they ran in 40 degrees, so it wasn't much colder. And they ran close to the same times. They ran a 7.17 for the 50, the 100 was a 13.9, and the 200 was a 29.33. And then I did in the heat, so we had to wait a little bit because obviously you can't go one day where it's 60 and the next day where it's 40. So we had to wait a few months until we could run these ones. And the temperature was 64 degrees when we ran this day, and their averages for the 50 was a 7.16, the 100 was a 13.57, and the 200 was a 29.62. And then the second trial we had was 57 degrees. The 50 meter dash they ran a 7.04, and the 100 they ran a 13.31, and the 200 they ran in 29.10 seconds. So before I go into showing the graphs of each individual person, we had Adam. They all ran in the same outfits every time they ran. So this is like Adam's stride, just so you can see what he's wearing and like how he like ran and everything. And then here's his graphs. So right now the graphs don't really show much, so it's kind of hard to read off of them. It shows like towards the beginning when it was colder out that they ran a little bit slower towards the quicker distances, and then it kind of evened out at the slower runs and stuff like that. And then as you go down, the graphs vary just very little. There's not much difference. And here's Jay. Whenever he was running, this is the outfit he wore every time, and that's his stride as well. Him and Adam are brothers as well, I should say that. Here's Jay's graphs. At the end, they vary a little bit more, so he ran a little quicker whenever it got towards the warmer temperatures. Here's Ethan. This is what he wore every time he ran, and there's his stride. And then Ethan's graphs are very straight. There's really not much difference in any of the points that he ran throughout all of his times. And then this is Garrett. He wore that outfit every single time, and that's his stride. And he has very little difference in his as well, just like Ethan's. So this is the averages put together, so you can see like how they changed and everything. So the average cold temperature was 41 degrees, and the heat was 61 degrees. So in the 50 and the cold, they actually ran slower for the 50 and the 100 meter, and then in the 200, they ran quicker. So my final conclusion is when you run the 50 and the 100, you will run slower in the cold because your legs are not warmed up, and there's not a lot of distance to get your muscles to be like active to like their full capacity. Whereas when you run the 200, you have to run quicker at the start, and you have a lot longer to get your muscles to warm up. So that's why I think it is better to run the 50 and 100 in warmer temperatures and the 200 in colder temperatures.